All right, so welcome again, everyone, to another week of Let's Talk About It, where we have some entertaining and educational conversations just to get everyone's personal experiences about dating. Neither of us, myself nor my guests, are relationship experts. We're just giving our own personal stories and just really trying to have some conversations just to see how different people view different things. Our opinions are our own, and we're not trying to push anything on anyone else. So I had to make sure I give my disclaimers at the beginning, just before people go off the wall and all that kind of stuff. So, welcome to this week. I have my guy Andre on. Andre, we tell everyone where you are located, what state you're located, and how old are you?
I am located in Nashville, Tennessee, and I just turned 24. Look, I'm showing my age by going in reverse. 24, 42 on Juneteenth.
Sir, don't be like somebody else I know. Like they said, well, I think they said they're 24 plus 10 or times 10 or something like don't or times don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Let's keep it real. Let's keep
I
it
know.
real.
I'm trying to keep this all together, man. I'm trying to keep it together, man.
I mean, hold up. I mean, especially with having grades and stuff, because I've seen you before, so I've seen your pictures, so I know, I know you got the grades. Nobody's really trying to turn gray at 24, so let's
No,
be
not at
honest. Let's
all.
keep it real.
You right. You right.
Thank you.
You right. You got it.
My
All
two,
right.
my two rules. Keep it honest. Gotta keep it honest from the
I'm
very beginning.
17 years old. What? No, bro. Come on.
Unnecessary fabrication. Let's not do that. All right. So, what we're going to do, we're just going to really talk about and hash out some things. Just especially, I like having male guests because I have plenty of women who come on, but I know my audience, my followers like hearing and seeing things from a men's perspective also. So we'll go forward from there. Everybody always gets the first list of questions. So what I do is use this as a baseline just to see how the conversation is going to go. And so our audience really has a general understanding or at least a baseline understanding from who you are. This first list of questions that really prompted and started this whole series. It really took off and a lot of people were like, these are just the basic things I want to know. Because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to make an educated decision about whether you want to go forward with who you're dating or not. All right, you
Gotcha.
ready?
Ready.
Cool. All right. So first question, probably the number one question people want to know: are you single?
Yes, I am single.
Uh-oh. This is, you probably want to get another 5 followers just off of that. All right. So, uh, is there anyone that does not believe that you're single though?
There's tons of people that believe I'm not single.
Okay. And this meaning people who are making claims on you saying that they're with you, even if you aren't publicly announcing it.
No, I'm not saying no one's making claims. People just don't believe that I'm single.
Okay, so we're gonna go into that a little bit. All right, so do you want to be in a serious, long-term, monogamous relationship?
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay. What is your spiritual life like? Specifically, who is Jesus to you? And the reason I ask that question, I always give this disclaimer every week, is because Jesus is a nice benchmark for things. If you're Christian, you will say Lord and Savior. If you're Jewish, you'll acknowledge him as such. If you're Muslim, you acknowledge him as just a prophet. Maybe atheist and say, hey, he's just somebody in the that's in the fairy tale. So as long as other people at least know where you are. So how would you answer that
You
question?
gonna make me reach for my wine already. All right.
Okay.
um, but I am a Christian. All right. But over the years, I've been more spiritual based, which is more in touch with energy. But I can't forget my roots. So I'm Christian based. Jesus is Jesus. But from my education, I know he may look more like me than what has been advertised.
Gotcha. So not prescribing to the normal blue out brown haired Jesus that is subscribed. You're taking it a little bit further, but Christianity is your baseline, but you're doing more, adding more to that to an
Right.
extent. Or am okay, got you. Are you a parent?
I am not.
Okay. Would you like to have a child?
I would definitely like to make a copy of myself.
What if it's a daughter though?
I would love to make a copy of myself with long hair.
Okay, so either way it goes, as
Either
long as he
way it goes.
hold
Yeah.
up. Now are you gonna do the typical black man thing of okay, I'm gonna use my name to make the name for the baby girl, so you're Andre, then it's gonna be Andrea.
I'm not gonna do that to my baby girl. All right. Now, if
Okay.
the mom thinks it's cute, I'm not gonna go against her. I will say Now remember what you're doing, but I'm not. If she wants it, then I'll go with it.
Okay, so you're not putting that particular stamp. Because I've seen men who, I was like, really? Yeah, you really that stuck on
Would you
yourself? This we really got to
just
do?
call your daughter Tony? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So
thing.
like me, yeah, I'm Treon, and I have a daughter, and I named her Triana just because I want to. This I'm like, man, come on, you don't go on somewhere.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, that's very wild. Moving forward, have you healed from past relationships and or any childhood trauma?
I'm gonna say I would like to believe that I have. I think I put the work in. Has it taken a long time? Yes. So yes.
Okay. And how did you go about getting this particular hit in
Whew.
progress?
Deep diving, reflection, um, motivational type of, mantras, and just reviewing my life and how it was, and seeing and making mental notes of mentors that are out there and how they moved and shaped. And religion was put in there too,
Hmm.
and taking accountability. I did go to therapy for a short period of time. We didn't really talk about that, but it did open my eyes to some things.
Gotcha. Okay. And do you have a legal form of income?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So it's something that you can actually file taxes on.
Yes,
Oh, okay, got it. So not a street pharmacist or anything like that.
not at all. Not even a little bit.
Okay. And if you were, you wouldn't really announce it online either,
I
right?
would not.
Okay. So I almost trapped you. I almost got you with that. You were smart. Good job.
Thank
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You don't get tired. All right, this is gonna be a good interview. All right.
Oh yeah,
Do you have your own motor or electric transportation?
I have two of them.
Two of them. Okay. Hold them, not scooters though, right?
No scooters, two
Okay.
vehicles, four wheels.
Gotcha. I mean, with Nashville, I know you all love Nashville loves scooters, even though they said they were supposed to be banning them, but they didn't.
Only downtown, and as a person that's been here for 3 years, I do not mess around with downtown. I stay where I'm at. I don't go downtown.
Got you. Okay. I understand completely. All right. Do you have your own residence?
Yes, I'm in it as we speak. This is not a rented backdrop. These are my pieces. This is my other room in my living quarters.
Got you. Okay. So you're not a homosexual. You have somewhere to lay your head. All right. And would you say that you have a sense of humor?
A tad bit, yeah, just a tad.
Un poquito. Okay. I
Yeah,
got you.
por favor.
See, we're on the same we're on the same thing. All right, cool. So they talking about the artwork. I can't see the artwork. I'm gonna see it when I recap this later. But all right, so we got a good baseline on things. Now, one of the other games that we like playing is ISO Boom. So ISO Boom. Everybody knows that the best stories start that way. What's going to happen is I'm going to ask you about specific dating scenarios just to see what your personal experience has been, and it could be good, it could be the worst end, it could be something in the middle ground. Again, just for us to have a baseline, we can really build some things off of. So, could you tell me about the dates that led to the most optimism? This time we're going to start with something positive. So a date that like you went on it, at the end of it, you were like, hey, this could really go somewhere. I really like this. And you have to start it off with ISO Boom. I almost forgot to mention that.
I'm trying to figure out one. So you said ISO Boom. That's what we're starting, right?
Yeah,
I don't really
ISO Boom.
ISO Boom. I met a young lady, college, 10, 15 years removed. We connected over time. I wasn't as attracted to her at the time during college or whatnot, but years later we got together, and in my head, I'm giving her a chance or whatnot, this, that, and the other. And then come to find out, she was a very magical human being. She was very open to things that I like to do. I like to watch anime, so she was okay with watching anime. She was open to being emotionally free with her sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So once I calculated all these things, I was like, I think I might be able to live here.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't argue as much, and she listened more than she talked at me as a partner, getting to know her after that. So yeah.
Okay. So I mean, how did the actual date with her go?
Uh, she's quick with it. So let's just so boom. She was very sharp. So that's how she was when we met in college. She was very sharp with it. She was very quick with it. So we were doing this back and forth thing. And at one point in time, you may think that that may not be for me. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, or fortunately, I like people to think on their
Right.
feet. I like people that are quick, and I actually liked her attitude and how she came at me more than she knew. So that's kind of how it kind of started, and it blossomed into some other things.
Gotcha. All right. So always on the intel end of that. So you had a good experience. You had a good feeling for it. I had to listen to where you were going when you said she was a magical person. I was like, hold up, what she was into? She was into some other stuff. And then you were like, okay, it's just her overall.
Right,
I was like, cool. All right,
right,
I'm,
right.
I'm, I'm with you. We got to be careful with words and understand what words are there. So you had a good foundation. Things look optimistic. What happened with it?
Uh, what happened with it was the communication changed.
Mhm.
Um, Expectations changed or sped up. And with that said, we then became unaligned in what we were wanting at the same at different times.
Mhm.
Um, Still amazing person, but it just wasn't fitting. And I was just talking to someone earlier, when people put me in a position, I usually resist.
Mm.
So I like to kind of move things, and as being a man, I want to make the choice. I want to make the choice. I don't want to be put in a I don't want to be put in an ultimatum situation.
Gotcha. Understood. So in this particular thing, was it that she was probably trying to ask for more or something more serious than you were willing to provide at that particular time?
Correct.
Gotcha.
1000% correct.
Okay. Um Now since you said that was back in college days, where are you now in that particular one with the mentality of fighting, being put into a box, and also with I guess wanting something serious?
Uh, um, with your first part, no one will ever put me in a box. I won't allow it.
Okay.
And secondly, with the growth, I have, I would like to say I've mastered. Uh, it's not arguing; it's more like using my logic of understanding and being clear, so they can understand my viewpoint. And that is an art when you're talking to the opposite sex, to get them to actually listen and think and say, that was a good point, or they say it a day after that. So
Mhm.
I think I've done the work to be able to convey my emotions and my feelings in a way that they can understand at this
Gotcha.
age.
Okay. Um, and with, I guess with the seriousness, I'm guessing it's with okay, how long was that particular relationship in regards to timeline wise? Was it like some months? Was that some years before it got to the point she was trying to put more on it than you were willing to provide?
Um, that would, let's just say, I was different then. So like we could even say a year or 6 months, because that was a thing back then. That 6 month period was like, you need to know, and I wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
So I'm not gonna be, if I'm not sure, I'm not gonna move.
Gotcha. Understood. Because I talked to other guys. I think that's been a really recurring question because I know for some of my women friends have asked, hey, I've been talking to this guy for X amount of time, and we haven't moved forward with putting either a label or I don't know what's going on. Everything is more so the lines of going with the flow, or we just vibing and things like that. And so I always say, and I believe that, most men know, especially once we get to a certain age and maturity. Um, so would you say that you have a timeline as far as you knowing whether you want to be serious with someone or not?
I do have a timeline, and those timelines are different for different
Hmm.
people. If it's the feeling that you feel in your gut, which is what I think women may feel when they feel like, oh, this is a good fit, so they make that move.
Hmm.
For me now, I've been through some things. I did that when I was 21. I made the moves. I like you. Let's go. 30, it was like, eh. Now at 40, 42, and I just had this conversation. That's funny that you bring it up. I said 3 months, 6 months. a year of dating. I'm talking about dating. It doesn't have to be exclusive. It's just dating, because the point of it is because what women were telling me, my sister and my friend, they was like, well, if you enter inside me, you do this, you should know. I still don't have to know. I still don't know who you are, because I'm trying to search for forever. So if we do the math, 3 months, 6 months, a year compared to forever, which is marriage, which is the end goal, which everybody wants, that
Right.
doesn't seem as bad.
Mm-hmm.
So with that saying, I will take a lot more time because I want to be married and I don't want to be divorced.
Right.
So
Everybody.
I don't know, to answer your question. Me personally, I take a little bit more time because I've been through things, and I want to make sure I see you in every season. And the season is usually a year's worth.
Mm-hmm. And so you just really want to see the full person before you really can decide. All right. So with that, and I know I'm looking at the comments, and I know we had already talked about the box. It was just the expectations being put on that you weren't necessarily ascribing to, or being rushed to a certain particular place.
Correct.
I'm seeing you all before, being engaged with the conversation too. So, but now, okay. So it's been a learning thing, just because of what you've been through, and not wanting to, like you said, just have that ultimatum of those expectations. And I think you touched on something, because especially people, like you said, when, hey, you've been inside of me, it's like, hey, what's going on? And so I do know that once the physical thing comes in, that can lead to more questions, because there's either going to be, hey, is this just we just having fun situation? Or is this actually leading somewhere, because I'm not just trying to be a stepping stone or a place filler?
Right.
So how do you actually communicate those things to the women that, okay, hey, I like you, and yes, we may have done X, Y, Z, but I'm not at a place to, say we are together. And how has that response generally been?
And I like what she just said there. Marriage should not be the end goal, staying married, that's same difference. That's what I mean.
Right.
But how I convey it is, we're both adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people enter that physical realm, they forget that they wanted something too, and I wanted something too, and then we made a choice to make it happen. That doesn't mean that this is going to happen next. This is just an act of both of us being adults and being in a moment, which is what I call an experience. And this is what I describe it as. It's an experience. We're all living, and every day is an experience. And you shouldn't take that experience and blow it up to this right here when it was just right here.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I hear you.
So I live in experiences. So I explain it that way, and I'm like, well, and then this is where the conversation goes. Well, I may need to take that off the table, and that's totally fine. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to go forward with me, I'm not saying that that's what my focus is, because intimacy is not my focus. That's
Right.
everywhere. You can get intimacy anywhere, or sex. Let's just keep it plain.
Yeah.
But friendship is my goal. And if we can't even convey or communicate that clearly, or if you don't understand that we made a choice as adults and you want this just because you gave me this, then you're already operating differently than what I want anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
okay.
That's not gonna keep me there.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right, and along those lines, then too, again, like you said, just being honest with things. If it comes up, say the woman is to say, hey, I don't want to have sex until marriage. I want to wait until then. Is that something that's a deal breaker for you, or you feel like you would still explore them as a serious partner?
Definitely a deal breaker. I won't even hesitate on that, because, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Being that we have experienced things as adults, oh my God, trying to teach somebody how to be intimate and teach you that's not, ain't never been on a bike before or whatnot. Like, some people can see it as a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it as a good thing at this age. Like, I don't want to, and I'm gonna say that every time. At this age, I don't see that as a good thing. It'd be different if she's like in her, 35 to 40 range. But if she's like maybe like, let's say 27 to 32,
Mm-hmm.
I may have some leeway. But and if she makes me have butterflies where I'm like, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I may need to wait, and that will happen. It's happened one time. I knew that I would wait whenever they wanted to. I was convinced that that was okay. It happened once, and it probably won't ever happen again. Probably not.
You said I held out. I didn't go for it. It didn't go anywhere. I'm not trying it again.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. So with that, from your personal dating experience, have most women been like, okay, hey, all right, if you can't wait, I don't want to be here, or have they been more so along the lines of, all right, I'm down for it too?
I'm about to say something. Yeah, all right. I'm in my tenure of doing this over the years. I'm more surprised how fast women give it up.
Mm,
I'm more surprised by that. Um, no questions, letting the emotions flow. I'm more curious about that. And I've studied this. I've learned it. I've logged it in my head. I've done this for a while. Um, I'm a retired, savage. Is what I like to call it, retired. But I do have the information. You know what I'm saying? So it happens, but it's privy. It's privy to who, what, when, where, and why.
mm,
All right, women, they might have had a drink and they be like, it's my birthday, so they give inhibitions to the wind. So that might be a moment that they have a moment. Um, but with all of that said, that's an interesting topic that you brought up. I don't know if I want to go into any full detail, but I think I've said enough.
I got it. So you're saying from your personal experience, even though you're a retired savage, you've seen your personal experience has been more women are willing to not wait as opposed to wait.
Right,
Gotcha. Okay, understood. So again, personal experiences, and this is what we're just talking about real life.
right.
Because there are some who are on the lines of, nah, I'm waiting until marriage, and there are others who are like, nah, I want to get the milk before I buy the cow. I want to test drive the car and see if this is something I would really want to see for a long time. But
I'm
going
not
with
in the
the,
streets, but I'm on the sidelines watching. And if they get off the court, I'm right
um,
there. I'm right there.
yeah,
Coaches got game too. All right, this is a different game.
they still know what they're doing, but they still know the game, but just not an active participant. Okay, got you.
Exactly.
It's just knowing with that again, that brings another level of expectations. For one, especially if faith is involved, again, Chris think, hey, I'm trying not to do this until marriage. Others will be, hey, if I'm doing this because I'm not just giving my body out all willy nilly, this has to be leading somewhere in order for us to do this, especially more than one time, a recurring thing, and we don't have any kind of identity of where we're going or at that particular point.
Correct. Correct. And I
Okay.
understand that. I support that way of thinking. But my next question, based off the conversation that I had with somebody else, was how many times has that really worked for you? Because if
Hmm.
you're still single at this point, that algorithm ain't algorithm.
And
Ain't
I think,
algorithm in it.
yeah, and to their question, that they could also flip that on you and say, hey, with how you're doing things, and you're still single, so it may not be working for you either.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you flipped it in real time, right?
Hmm.
And if I went back and because this is the argument, this is what if we were opposite, if I was the woman, you were, the guy, it'd be
Right.
like vice versa. But if if I had one, two, three, or multiple, that means at 42, no kids, whatever, and I can take my time compared to people are coming at you, and you're wanting it, but we're doing the exact same dance. So the thing is, I'm choosing to be here. I'm choosing, and you could be like, yeah, I'm choosing the same thing, but are you? Because you don't have to, because they say there's not a lot of good men, but there are good men out there that come to you every day from Walmart, at the gas station, at church, at the Black Awareness Pageant, uh, all those places, and you turn those guys down. So I don't understand. And the same thing for me. I've met a lot of good women, and I pivoted, and I question myself on those pivots as
Hmm.
well.
Okay. So that goes back to, I guess, that first question when we asked, are you single? And you said that there are some people who would be surprised that who don't believe that you are single. If you could say plainly why you are single right now, what would be your answer?
I'm gonna post this on my other Instagram, but this is a real answer, and I want because I want to be raw with it. I'm scared of making a mistake.
That's big.
I'm scared of making a mistake. I've seen my mother married 3 times. I'm the oldest of 3. I've seen it all. I've seen my aunt deal with, an uncle that wasn't the best person. So getting this right, my 2 brothers had children out of wedlock. I mean, they're good and they're happy. There's no rule to love and how you happen and if you stay together. But I, as the oldest, I want to deem that, maybe he did it right.
Mhm.
So fear of making a mistake.
That's a very honest answer. And I can say for me with dating, because I'm in a relationship now, but I've been divorced, as you had mentioned there earlier. And so for me, I'm more, I won't say critical, but I guess so, because again, there are certain things I don't want to do again, but there's also, I want the next one to be the last one. I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy. And I think a lot of people, period, even whether it's divorce or just a breakup, nobody wants to go through that particular thing. And so I do want the next thing to stick and stay, so more so evaluating. But one of the things, the conversations that I have with myself and who I'm with, and just with other conversations, period, is that, especially with matters of love, this there's always going to be, an inherent risk in that particular thing. And so it's either you play it safe and keep yourself on the bench and in the background. I will observe, like say as a coach, but I'm not trying to get in the game. Or am I going to put myself out there and really just hope that I've done enough work to learn this other person and know myself enough to really give it a solid chance? And, if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. How do you
Right.
look at that?
Um, I I don't want to. I really try not to, but you have to be in the game to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't, people always say, I don't want to play no games, but life is a game. It's literally a game, and it's called life. And we've all played it since we've been 10. If you played the board game, now you're playing the real, 3D game,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be in it. You have to put yourself out there. You have to date. You have to go through the heartaches. You have to go through that. And I've done all of that, and I probably will continue to go through that and make mistakes and love and let go. But I guess me getting so wrapped up in the routine of me loving and letting go, that it doesn't hurt as much,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't allow it because of the experience. Um, but I don't mind putting myself out there. I wear a bulletproof vest, so I don't take one to the heart and to the head, if that makes any sense. I don't mind taking shoulder shots, one to the leg, uh, you know, but I'm not going to take anything that's at my heart. I'm not risking that just yet.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered your question. I kind of rambled on that one.
You did. Okay. So for anyone who will be interested in dating you and having a relationship with you, would they need to know that going in, like you are still kind of reserving yourself apart, so they really aren't fully getting the full you, or would you say you still are presenting yourself, but you're hesitant with it? It takes more time.
I'm not. You're right. I would explain. I would share that I do take my time. I do always share that information that I'm taking my time. And with taking my time doesn't mean I'm going to keep things reserved. That just means I'm an onion, and the deeper we go, the more you'll see. And then you can either accept what you see, but that may take time. That may not take 3 months. You may not get that in 3. You may not get that in 6. So I need to know that I can trust you like I trust my family, which is forever for some. But for me, my family's forever. I trust them. I know them. And if you want to be a part of my family, I need to go through this process to trust you unconditionally, even if I'm mad at you, even if I'm, very mad at you, because at the foundation of all of that is also friendship.
Mhm.
And women say they want friendship. So friendship takes time. A real friendship takes time. So if we are going to do this, whatever we do that's an adults, don't put the sex in it. Let's just say that's an activity. I
Mhm.
know it's hard for people to separate that, but we go through these things, and let's build on that. And then I can be what you want, because I'm still going to give you, 70, 80, 90, and I'm going to build up, and then you're going to get that.
Mhm. So you're more on the lines of starting at this particular point and build up. As I think for me is again with the whole purpose of the whole dating question series. I think I'm on like part 20 now, It's really, like I said, just making educated decisions, asking the right questions beyond just what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food. So we really can get, as you just mentioned, the authenticity and really getting the real person. Um, we get to know them, they get to know us. So for my dating, I guess my tactic is I will go in with full me, and how you act determines if we stay at 100% or if I start withdrawing. Whereas you're saying you're starting with with, we'll say 70%, and then we'll build up to 80, 90, 100.
Well, when I mean that, I mean I always come in genuine. I just wanted it to be organic. So the
Right.
trust factor starts off small. You know what I'm saying? The trust factor. But as far as me being who I am, just like I was just raw just 2 seconds ago, I'm definitely going to come in authentic. It's the trust part that gets me because I don't know you. I just met you.
And then they have to learn you also. So that goes both ways. I got you.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Because trust is one of those things that is hard to gain, but it's really easy to lose. And so everybody has to make sure, that we are careful with those things and really getting our best selves. And I also learned, even with me, trying not to linger on the past, the pain that I had in my past affecting my present and my future. I guess that goes back into what we were talking about, with being healed and from past things. And then somebody said to hurt people, and me not penalizing somebody else or my present or possibility just because of what happened in my past. So how much, I know you say you've done some work. Do you, is that something that you're still working on, or do you think you pretty much have that kind of in check?
I have that in check. It's just like I said, it's coming in organically. So I like to see people where they're at, and I'm going to meet you right there, and we're just going to work that out. I never be like, well, this girl or my ex did this. I try to stay away from it. But if you ask me and you want me to communicate of a past situation, I don't mind sharing that. But that's not who I am now because I've been able to do that work. I've been able to accept, because this is my thing. In relationships, the one thing that I want to make sure that I do first is accountability of what I did in that relationship and when and where and how it went wrong. And if I'm the one that left, I had a reason to, and I'm going to understand that reason and be okay with it. I did that part.
Okay. And that's being honest with the particular situation too. Because I think even with relationships, sometimes people can tend to point the finger solely at the other person instead of, looking at and having that introspective, perspective and see, hey, I could have done better on some things also.
Right.
And if this situation is not positively benefiting me, I have, the right to and the wisdom to go ahead and make this separation. I think what it really all boils down to is the communication during the whole process.
Right.
So, okay, from the beginning, these are my expectations. In the middle, hey, this is where we're meeting the mark, and this is where we aren't. Again, not in a badgering way, but like in a really conversational thing. This is what I want, but this is what areas we're lacking in. And I think at the end, being able to say, you know what, this isn't working out, and we're able to, let's just go ahead and part ways peacefully before things really get ugly. And I think that's what a lot of people I've seen and talked about, and even my own personal experience, we tend to let things get bad without addressing them, and then when it all blows up, and then it's worse than it really should have been.
Exactly. I 100% agree on that, and I've had my share. But coming back or even keeping those which I call don't burn bridges, because you never know when that person may come back. And I had a friend outside of me. He was just like, bro, I did this XYZ. I said, well, do you owe her money? Did y'all ever have a big argument where y'all were disrespectful? All right, so don't cut her off. Don't treat her rude. Don't be disrespectful. You need to do that work, bro. And you never know. Maybe she might need some time to reflect, and she may change her mind. All right, but never burn bridges. Always try to take the I call it the high road, and just be more articulate and open to both sides, so you don't make a mistake of saying something that you can't take back.
Right, because I think I wish people were more so accepting with that. You can apologize all day, but there's some stuff you just can't. You just can't take back. You just can't take back. All right. So I'm gonna go into another list of questions. This is going to go to your circle. That's based on some things that you had mentioned. That want to kind of dive a little deeper into it. So,
Okay.
first question. Do any of your relatives or friends believe that no one is good enough for you? If so, how do you manage their expectations?
They don't care anymore.
They say you 43. Look, man, just figure it out.
They
Just do
don't
it.
care anymore. Like my brothers, my mom, they just do you. Like, oh, I'd be like, bro, like I would come and be like, oh, I like her, bro. You like them all.
Hmm.
I'd be like, all right, so I just stopped talking. So I don't even introduce until I'm married and we about to get married at the courthouse or whatever. I
Hmm.
don't say nothing. So, but if there is one, it was my mom. I had one girlfriend back in the day, and she was like, no, she's not it. It'll be my mom and my aunt. My aunt, she's sly, so she'll wait, and then we would break up. Yeah, I didn't like her. I didn't like her at all. I knew she wasn't gonna last. I was like, why didn't you say nothing like 3 months ago? It's your life. It's your life.
Right. I've had that experience with my family too. My mother and I've welcomed it more now as I've gotten older, especially based on the past experiences. And she's almost always right, for real. And so even my aunts and my cousins, they be like, I don't know, like they cool, and it's always the thing. They're sweet, they're a nice person, but I don't know if they're right for you though.
Right, right. So
Got it.
now I just,
Okay.
like I said, when it happens, I mean, it will happen, and she needs to meet
Mm,
moms, and that's important to me. I don't want any drama. I'm trying to create a drama-free life. If it's something that we can control, please like
mhm,
my mom and my family. But that's why it's also important to vet people to make sure that they have the same personality to where it can kind of just a puzzle piece and it could just fit in. I'm not saying everything is perfect, but
mhm.
it'll work out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Has there ever been a situation where like you really like somebody, you were like, oh my God, I could really see this going further, and your mother was just like, mm-mm. And how did that affect the relationship when you found out that your mother really didn't approve of, or didn't really have a positive outlook on that particular relationship?
Well, that happened. And actually, that's a real thing. So what happened was, long story short, my brother lived in another place. I got there second years later. I didn't know that he dated a woman at 18.
Hmm.
They had a moment, and I came there, and I'm like in my 30s. By that time, my brother, he was kind of, he lived his life too, right?
Hmm.
So what happened was, I actually liked this woman. So we started dating, whatever, this, that, and the other. His baby mama at the time, my now sister, told my mama when we came to visit that, hey, they've been together, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, how dare you bring this woman when she's got this? I'm like, whoa, we're grown. That was childhood. How
Hmm.
does that equate to this? But that did not sit well with the family. And they were right anyway. She was a nutcase and it didn't work out. And I'm glad that it didn't. So once again, moms for the win.
Got you. Okay. You kind of touched on it, but I was going to also ask, how do you wait until you tell? I mean, how do you wait to tell your circle? How long do you wait to tell your circle that you're talking to someone new?
Now, a while. It just depends. Okay, it'll be like one person. So it'll either be like my sister or one of my close friends out of our group of circles. So if I'm really feeling, I'll be like, my God, I think I might have one.
Hmm.
It's about to go down. So let's just say maybe a month. That's me being
Okay.
excited because I'm still excited. I'm still excitable.
Right.
So I will get. I'm like, yeah, this could work. But I don't like to tell too many people because if it don't work, we're back at square one
Right.
again.
You don't want to keep telling people, "Oh man, I found my queen." Like you would have had four queens this
Yeah,
year. What's really going on?
man,
We
and this
playing
is 13th queen, bro, since 2020, 2015. Like, how many more queens you gonna
like
have, bro?
we playing spades. We playing poker or something right now. What's
Come
really
on,
going
man.
on?
So it's tough out here, man. I'm picky. I'm very particular.
But
So that's the other thing.
yeah,
I'm very
and
particular.
I'm with you. I'm with you also because I say with me, I'll wait until I really feel like, first off, can we get past 2 weeks of actual talking and experience before, because normally in that 2 weeks, we kind of bit like, no, this isn't, we don't have similar expectations or we on the line on key important things for me. So let's just go ahead.
Right.
Either we will
Right.
stop this or be platonic or whatever. So yeah, you'll wait. But if I keep saying a name after so long, then I'm like, okay, hey, you said this name for like 2 months now. Who is this? What's really going on with
She
y'all?
didn't. She
So,
didn't make it. She didn't make
oh,
it.
they did it. If it got pressed around 2 months,
Right.
okay. If you have a breakup, would your circle be more likely to ask, "What did you do?" or is it, "What did they do?"
They're the homies, so they immediately they're not gonna take. They're not gonna ask her. They're gonna be like, "So what did you do, bro? How'd it go?"
Yeah.
They're gonna ask me, "What did I do?"
Hmm.
And I will tell them what I did and what I don't do. Where I'm the thing about my group of friends, we're very honest and we hold people accountable. And that's the one thing I can admire about my family and my friends, my brother. They be like, you know it's you, right? It's you. That's why you single. It's you because you're picky. All right. Or or like I had one other friend, he brought a chick to a vacation and then he left and hollered and then called another one on FaceTime. We gave him the business. All right. So I think we're wait for it, high value men to where we hold each other accountable
Okay.
and to a standard.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have a nice circle of men who, like you said, with the accountability, which is good. And I know normally when people ask that, especially if they say that, hey, what did you do? If the friends ask, what did you do first? It's normally, okay, you either have a history of messing up, or like you said, discounting or cutting things off early, or just not choosing the right person, or if the other person is just acting up. It can go really either way with it. Okay. You also asked another question. Well, did you? Are your parents married, or have they ever been married?
My parents were married for a very short time, but they were married. They are divorced. They've been divorced for a very long time. My mom has been, and that's what I was saying. My mom has been, but she divorced. She had three marriages. She's in her third marriage, and
Okay,
she's been there. She's solid in this one. So, but she's very honest in how she maneuvers and shares with me about how marriage is and things like that. So I'm very close with my mother.
got you. And yay, mom. So hey, third time was a charm for her. Then does anyone in your family or friend circle have a marriage that you view positively?
Oh yeah, several. I like to my first one would be my uncle Vic and my aunt Deborah. They're a very religious couple, Christian based. I've never seen anything. So that old school, keep it behind closed doors, maneuver in silence and do things a certain way.
Hmm.
I have some other friends that, they might be a little bit more flamboyant. However, they are still together. They've been together for a long time and they always have fun. So I have great examples of people maneuvering in different ways. And I hope I get to have that one day.
Gotcha. Okay. And I asked that question. I think the question was put on the list because sometimes we can, especially for those who want to be married, sometimes it's nice to see a good example. And
Right.
so we live a life of not seeing that around us. None of our friends have successful marriages, or people are married in title only, but they're doing all kind of mess and it's just all kind of drama associated with it. It's like, I don't want that for my marriage. So that's not what I want. Or like we said earlier, people just look at the wedding and not thinking about the work after that, the actual marriage of sticking and staying together. So yeah, we got it, but we're not really doing it. Or even with those who are married, but it's like y'all are boring.
Right.
It's like I'm supposed to be excited about that. Why would I want that? So it's
Right.
nice to have those positive light examples, so you know what to aspire to and what it can look like. Not saying you're going to walk the same exact steps as them because every marriage is going to be different, but at least having somewhat of a pattern and at least hopefully some kind of wise counsel. You say, hey, you going through this. We went through this too. This is what we did. Take with it as you will.
Exactly. And I can't wait for that day. I'm thinking about it. I think about it all the time. And I'm like, when I get off work, I get to see my baby. And I think as men, we need to share that we have these thoughts. And I don't think they know that we have these thoughts. Like I get excited. I'm like, I can't wait to get off work, blah, 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 blah. I might have to cook for her. She cooking for me and she know what I like and all these things. So I think about these things constantly for years. I can't
Right.
wait.
No, can I? I'm looking forward to it because even with my first experience being I love being a husband. That wasn't even a question at all. I like having one person to take care of, and do life with. And so just being able to have that again, definitely looking forward to that. And so that led to the next question. Regardless of your answer about, the positivity, how has that visibility or lack thereof affected your vision of relationships and marriage?
Whew, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Um, Calling. Can you still hear me? All
Yes,
right,
sir.
cool. Um, it did change it. It changed it a lot. Watching all those the losses of relationships did change my. It probably did create my hesitance
Okay.
over the years with other things and this, that, and the other. I will not deny that. But it also probably made me more spec- specific in how I move, because being
Okay.
42 with no kids, and I'm not saying I ain't almost have one. I did, because I'm a human. So
Mhm.
when I was younger, I had a mishap. Um, but after that, that was a lesson learned, and watching everything else. So now I try to move with the purposes of how I move are purposeful.
Okay. I got you. I'm with you. And then I definitely understand with that, in regards to just with the shaping and going forward. And I think maybe it may have been the first male guest I had on, my old coworker and homie, Brandon. When we work together, and this has been a topic that we see online, and we talk about how there are some men. Again, I hate generalizations, and we try to stay away from that on this show. But there's been a discussion between some men saying that, marriage only benefits women, what's really in it for men. And so some people, and both men and women, are on the fence, on the line of what's the purpose of getting married, especially seeing how the divorce rate is and what different people are going through. And again, those marriages that are just good and titled, but not, fulfilling, walking in what it's supposed to be. Some people really do have a pessimistic outlook on marriage and that. And so you're saying that that did affect you, but now you're getting, but for as a whole, you really do look at it as a positive thing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I like when I've seen it. Like my dad was a former street pharmacist, so he was out late at night. Um, he wasn't at home, had two boys, you know what I'm saying? So, and then when he did come, you know what I'm saying, it was a little domestic violence with the stepfather of the second marriage. So I've seen all these emotional, you know what I'm saying, reactions to things and love, and how they could end up the worst catastrophic way as a child. So when I mean traumas, that's the traumas I'm talking about. So that's the stuff that people don't know if they see me and they say this, that, and the other, but you don't know what I've been through. So
Right.
until you know what I've been through and how I came from it and my positioning on why I'm doing this, then you would understand it. And then you would be just as gentle with me as much as you want me to be gentle with you and your heart
Right.
and your body.
And I think that goes again back into communication and us taking the time to really get to know each other beyond surface levels thing.
Right.
Actually having those conversations that go beyond just like I said, just the color in the food, or how was your day, what you doing,
Right.
stuff like that. Who are you? Why are you this particular way? Why do you believe this particular way? So then you can navigate accordingly and know it. And I think also with that, with experience and with understanding, or at least trying to understand somebody, people knowing that I can understand you, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with you. And we just able to move accordingly with those specific.
1000%. Yeah, I like that. I tell people, if I'm communicating with you and I don't feel, once again, I don't feel like you're listening or to understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying. Like you can understand my point, but you don't have to agree
Mhm.
with it.
You just said something that's going to lead to a segue, which I'm kind of smart. I've been waiting on this all day too. I was kind of weak. So you're kind of a celebrity. So I heard, right? You know where I'm going, right?
I think I do know where you're going with
Yeah,
this.
I
I
found
think
it. I watched it last night on HBO Max, episode 3. So what
what are you talking about?
to put a ring on it?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I've been on yeah, I was on a reality TV show. I've been on several. So you'll have to wait for whatever else comes. But yeah,
What,
that you know. But yeah,
what else I know about besides to put the ring on that are already out?
yeah, that's the one I can talk about. So yeah, yeah. So put a ring on it. That was an interesting experience. I got to be a dater. I was the dater. That woman was dating somebody for 9 years. I was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be something that the grass is greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, I didn't get a second date.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own theories and concerns about that because if you watch the video, we definitely had a time and a connection.
Mm-hmm.
We actually went on a date outside the show.
What?
So yeah, we went out on a date outside the show like a year and a half later. So yeah, so I probably should have been there longer, but I was the first date, and I think that they didn't want to put that pressure on their mate by immediately taking the first person that came along.
Gotcha. All right. So for you in that particular experience, I know the producers and all say, "Hey, we just need you to be, I guess, something different for her. You were a date." Was it outlined that there could something could grow from this, or was just like, "Hey, you're just this is more so an entertainment thing. We just need you to feel this particular time."
You know what? And what I'm learning is that there's just a baby nudge. After that, it's really just you. So what you saw was me all the time. I don't act. I'm acting as me.
Okay.
So I don't never change it. So what you saw is exactly what you would see if I was like, "What's up? My name is Andre. How you doing? It's good.
Mhm.
All right, let's have we're just here to have fun." Like that's what it is.
Yeah. So, and I made some notes about this particular thing. So I'll go through. Let me moisten my throat. One, you had some game. I ain't gonna lie. Hold on. Let me. I need to lower my, put some more bass in my voice to offset though, because I can't let your voice be deeper than mine. So I'm gonna put some more bass in my voice. So, yeah, painting with her, it was like you were using five senses. And so some people can use this as like almost like a template for dating. Okay, so things I know for one, you use sight. With you all painting, you all doing that. Was that intentional, or was that something you came up with, or was that the producer's idea to do the paint?
We had to curate the date, and that was my plan because I own a paint and sip
Mm-hmm.
business. So outside of the date, I also think it's also good because with painting, you get to learn someone and how they move and things like that. If you're paying attention, if you're a high level thinker of a man,
Mm-hmm.
you can learn a lot because I've been doing paint parties for about 7 years now. So
Right.
I can the way you move, the way you paint, how hard you paint, all of these are cues and how I need to address and move around you.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And that also led to talking about touch, because you were slick how you put in salsa. Yeah, I'm good with my hands, and and then gave a hand massage and all that. I saw what you were doing.
Well, I've been known to be a wordsmith from time to time.
Mhm.
I do not, brag about it, but my vernacular is large for
Gotcha. Hmm.
our
So,
lady viewers.
and she ran right along with it too.
Oh, she loved it.
My
She
other
loved
hand.
it.
Yeah, and
She
then talking
loved
about
it.
you moving to shoulders and all that. I was like, this man. All right, go ahead. Somebody say turned it. Saw it turn to. Nah, he didn't do all that on the show. It didn't go that far. Taste taste was left alone. You all didn't like eat dinner or anything like that. Then you
No.
also with smell commented on her perfume, and with hearing kind of what we were talking about earlier. Made sure you listened to her and then gave immediate feedback, and that was one of the things that she said that she enjoyed the most was that you seemed to be open, you were very responsive, and you were engaged with the particular conversation.
Most definitely. What I've learned over the years, um, where we as men fail is here and here,
Hmm.
here and here. We need to be active. What I hear from women of all ages, and hey, I hope you have me again because I got a book coming. All right, it's called All She Can Say Is No, but we'll talk about that later on another day. But
Hmm.
uh, they men don't talk. They don't have conversation. Me, I'm engaged. I want to know you. The more information I get, the more conversation, the more comfortable you become with me, the closer we can get to a goal of meeting or being friends or whatever it is long term by just having a conversation. And men need to realize that.
Gotcha. And I agree. It's all about information. And again, really doesn't understand that particular person. So for me, I'll take notes. If I can't remember it, there are certain things I'll put down into a notes. Like, okay, hey, I know she likes this. This is why she doesn't go down. This is why she believes this and X, Y, Z. So I know how to navigate accordingly with it. Other notes I had, which is me being petty, I didn't trust her man hairline. It really didn't look genuine. And then I also was going to say that his tattoo was starting to fade. But yeah, so
Yeah,
just,
that was petty. That was petty. But hey, it is what it is. You know what
I
I'm
mean, I'll
saying?
follow.
I didn't care about him anyway. I was there for myself because how it worked out is she walked out. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who I was going to date on the show. So when she walked out, I was like, oh snap, it's game time. So that's how it was. I was very shocked. You know, even though she did have a forehead, which usually women that are very attractive had that forehead. They had that forehead.
I miss. I'm not even gonna go down there. You try. I'm not going down that road.
I
But
like,
yeah,
first of all, petty is my second language next to English, and I barely
I'm
speak
good with
English.
last two videos I put out were about me being petty. So I definitely understand. I wear my petty king crown proudly. All right. So we're gonna close out with another segment of I So Boom. This is when people like hearing this, especially normally at the beginning, but in this particular situation, tell me about a date that you had. Again, we don't have to say names, where you were like, while you were on the date or immediately after, you were like, no, never again. This isn't going past today.
That's easy. That's an easy one. This one
Okay.
will I'll never forget this one. I was younger. I met her when we were like 15, 16 years old. I liked her gorgeous curly hair. Boom. So boom. 10 years later, we meet up again. I'm like, let's get drinks. And I
Mhm.
forgot why I never called her back. And then she opened her mouth. And I was like, and there was really just one word answers. It was really dry. She was really boring. And when I mean boring, I mean dull. I mean like sat boring. Like, like why are we here? Like, hey, how you doing? Good.
Giving a disgusting
That
face. Yeah.
I said, you know what? And after that date, I remember where we were. We were in Lexington. It was Drake's. It was like a 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock evening. I will never forget this. I said, ah, I remember now. I will never talk to this person ever again.
Because you couldn't talk in the first place.
Nope. And I never did. I don't even know what she's doing. I don't.
Gotcha. That's all bad. So that goes into the communication part. And talking, like you said, men wanting to talk more should be talking more, and then just also making sure that we're getting that from the other side too.
Right.
So it takes two to make a conversation. There was a
Golly.
post I think the group I'm in today, and I mentioned it was basically kind of almost with the same lines where we were good on the phone, but then in person on the date, like it was just like pulling teeth. It was like, okay, so what's going on? Oh, yeah, man. Like, what?
Can't do it. Can't
Can't
do
do
it.
it. No, can't do it. Not at all. All right. So I think we're at a good place for tonight's episode. We're good to go with that. I always give all my guests opportunity, like 30 seconds at the end. Is there anything that you would like to promote or anything during this time before we wrap it up?
Most definitely.
Your sound went out.
My sounds. Am I there? Can you hear
I
me?
hear you now.
All right. Let Loose Painting. Like I said, I'm a paint and sip provider. I come to your home. I do all these things. I'm also an artist, as you can see. And look for me look me on a syndicate station later on this year.
This is another dating show.
I can't confirm or deny.
That's a yes. I'll take that. All right. Okay. Okay, and then we got to keep everything under wraps, like it's what's the show? Love Is Blind. Yeah. So that'll be hard to do for a full year though. I don't know how they do that.
Nah, I couldn't. I got things
Mm.
to do.
Yeah, especially if you actually are one of the couples that made it to marriage and you all are still happy and taking trips and all that. So you gotta wait. I mean, I'm good with being private with my stuff, but yeah, a whole marriage stuff.
Nah, not doing it.
Yeah.
And I've been to one of those shows, and they wanted you to get the COVID shot, and that's the reason why I declined it.
Mm.
I was like, nah, I'm not getting no COVID shot.
Yeah.
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
So again, y'all, he's letting me know where he is, where his things is. So you all can make an educated decision. So thank you, Mr. Andre, for joining me this evening. I always like having additional men on the show. It's cool just to have guy talking on these particular things. So women can also hear different perspectives from men instead of just from women, and all of that. Thank you all who all watched tonight, and we'll be watching it when I post it up later. And I'll see you all in 2 weeks, Lord's will, with another guest. If you or anybody else is interested in being a guest, please don't make sure to reach out to me by DM, and we can schedule a time and a date. All right. Thank you all, and enjoy your evening.